Hello everyone, welcome to yet another day in this the Clown Decade, the decade where things are only going to get worse before they get better. And today I've decided to go through a small clip that was posted to Twitter because I think we all need reminding that yes, these people really do actually exist, and Twitter is not just always confined to Twitter. In fact, it's rarely confined to Twitter. That is why people go to jail for saying the N-word on Twitter. Anyway, this weekend there was a demonstration in London that was supposed to be headed by Tommy Robinson. However, he was arrested, pleaded guilty to contempt of court charges, and was subsequently sent to jail for 18 months. And obviously, because the words Tommy Robinson March were plastered all over the internet for people to turn up in London, naturally there was a counter-demonstration of virtue signallers. And unfortunately, as it turns out, some of those virtue signallers have kids. And now that I'm over a minute into this video, I can finally show you what's the result of these weirdos and their kids are. I want to make it clear from the very start, I have absolutely no ill will whatsoever towards the kid. You can't help who your parents are, after all. So all criticisms I have, I want you to bear in mind, they are all reserved purely for the boy's mother. Where the father is, I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. Let's just get into the clip. Yeah, just already, I do not like it when kids swear. Anyone under the age of like 13. It's just not great. And the thing is that in my experience of kids at that age swearing, it's typically because the parents are swearing quite a lot. I know parents that swear quite a lot. They get to this stage where the kids, they realise the kids are actually copying them, and they actually try and put massive effort to stop swearing. And I can appreciate that. It's not always something you think about, but it's certainly part of the reason that I certainly try and swear less in my day-to-day life. Obviously, on streams it's a little different because that is an adult situation and my channel is not made for kids. But even so, I'm trying to be professional here, and I try and swear less in my day-to-day life because I know one day I'll probably want kids. And getting out of the habit early and not passing it on to your kids is a good thing to do. But as we can see here...
Show him your sign.
Alright.
Yeah, the mother doesn't tell him off or anything like that. In fact, she's actively encouraging the child to swear. To say, not the worst, but one of the worst swear words just in his day-to-day language. Day-to-day language, yes, does include what you say at protests. And I would say, what about what he's going to do at school? But I know other people who homeschool, and they've reliably informed me that there are homeschoolers that have kids exactly like this. The parents don't necessarily look like the mother. However, the child just generally looks pretty unsheveled. When it comes to the swear words though, as far as I'm aware, the hippie type homeschoolers generally don't want their kids to swear, but obviously this mother's making an exception. All because, he needs to know Nazis are bad.
Fuck off Nazis. Yeah! Alright, would you like to elaborate?
I think he summed it up really. Nazis are fuckers.
Okay.
But you see what I mean though? The mother is actively encouraging this behaviour, and it's not going to be great for the kid's future. It's always a Jordan Peterson rule for life that I really do try and take notes of, despite the fact I don't have kids. But it's certainly a good rule. Don't let kids do things that make you dislike them. The problem you have here is that this woman is very dislikable and seems relatively antisocial. Hence, the pink hair and generally gaunt look that she has. And this is where the rule hits a problem. This mother likes that this kid is doing this, that her child is saying the F word in the streets of London simply because he's saying he doesn't like Nazis. And the thing, it's fine to say you don't like Nazis, that's not the issue. The problem is you can say that without swearing. And that's probably a good idea with kids, because not many people are out there who like it when children swear, because they're supposed to be innocent and polite, and shouting the F word in public is the complete opposite of that. So really, as I say, once again, this isn't the child's fault, this is entirely the mother's.
Anti-Tommy Robinson, anti-division, pro-Palestine.
That's a hell of a 3 things to say in a row, by the way. One, if you're anti-something, you are being divisive. It's fine to be divisive about bad things, by the way. If you think Tommy Robinson and Nazis are bad, you'll want to be divided from them. What a stupid thing to say. Secondly, you're at a counter-protest. Again, by definition, you are being divisive. And thirdly, saying you're pro-Palestine? You know, I can't think anything more divisive than overlooking, let's say, the fact that there was a rather large attack that Palestine committed against Israel. Again, rather divisive. So effectively, this is your brain when you stress yourself out over trying to be the most pure woke person that you could ever be. And your offspring turn into people that generally people are going to want to avoid, which is obviously not good for the child.
So why are you here, Roshi? What do you feel about Tommy Robinson?
Oh yeah, that's another thing. When I first saw this clip, I thought this was a girl. Turns out it's actually a boy, and this is what I mean. This dishevelled boy. You know, at the very least he's clean, but unkempt hair, garish outfit, and just, you know, generally poor language. It doesn't really add up to a well-integrated child. It's just not great.
Your thoughts on Tommy Robinson?
I want to eat him. He is a big bucket. La la la.
I mean, this stuff's just the child being playful. Again, perfectly natural for a child to act like this. They're all a bit weird. But, however, having said that, typically children of this age won't know words like massive dick. I mean, honestly, the rest of it's fine. Like, he wants to eat Tommy Robinson. Again, he's a child. He will be silly. And he's probably on a bit of a high because, you know, he's in a public space and it is relatively high energy. So, of course, the kid's hyper. You know, I'm sure that I said things like this, minus the massive dick part, when I was 7 years old as well. Again, the issues with the mother. If I was acting like this in public, saying, you know, X, Y, or Z's a massive dick, I would be taken out of the face of that camera like a flash, and I would get a hell of a dressing down in the car on the way home. You know, I would basically be crying in my room for 3 hours after it. Whereas I have any doubts that this child has been disciplined ever.
I have to say, I do have sympathy for people that feel really disenfranchised, and it's fucking hard for everyone at the moment.
Yeah.
See what I mean? She's no better, and it's where this child will have picked it up from. She will just swear like a sailor all the time. And as I say, I'm not perfect, but one, I don't have kids, and two, I am far better than I was 5 years ago. But anyway, it is interesting to see that her empathy only goes so far with people who feel disenfranchised. Effectively, if you don't feel disenfranchised in the same way, you're evil and I want my kid to eat you.
But it's the answer is not to be sucked in by you know, this bullshit and divisionist crap.
Sure.
I mean, with a sign saying smash fascism when basically nobody at that, well, there might be some, but barely anybody at that Tommy Robinson protest was a fascist. And to call them racist as well is pretty nuts. You know, I've seen the comments over from the dork right over the last few days. They are not happy that Mayar Tusi was there saying, oh, look at all these non-white people that are joining the pro-Tommy Robinson rally. You know, this woman's making accusations of pig ignorance and, oh, they're just being divisive against people that they are trying to unite the country. And, you know, they are happy with some of Tommy Robinson's previous work and appreciate what he has tried to do in the past. And the thing is, when it comes to the kid doesn't care about any of this at all. He won't have any concept of any of this. He'll just be told by his mother that Tommy Robinson is a bad person and everyone who follows him is a Nazi. Which, you know, it was hundreds if not thousands of people at that rally at the weekend. Is it really sensible to say, I am anti-divisiveness, when you are instilling in your child that there are irredeemable people that they disagree with?
Yeah, and I have quite a personal viewpoint on this, having family members who are on the other side.
Sure.
Oh, so you're dividing the family now as well. Ah, yes, you know your uncle, little whatever the boy's name is, he is a Nazi. Just absolutely crazy that she says she's against division. She's not even against dividing her own family.
I think so. There's so much division, even, you know, and I guess I'm one of the kind of upper middle class, so you could say it's easy to hold these beliefs.
Well, at least she's self-aware enough to understand that she has luxury beliefs. But my God, the upper middle class need... by the way, when she says that, she's lower upper. But they really need to make sure that their women understand how to not dress like children. Again, my sister's mentioned it in the past, but... well, I've had experience of it as well. But our mother really, really made sure that we would not dress like this, really. And we'll constantly go on about, how our hair looks bad. And as I'm sure my girlfriend will say, it wasn't instilled completely properly, but this is exactly why you need family. Because they're telling you when you do stupid things, and it appears that this woman has probably, let's say, left her family behind, and so there's no one to tell her that she looks like an idiot, and that her child is acting in a way that nobody likes.
I think it is. Their argument would be we're the working class. We live in these communities where we see the problems. You guys say we're racist when we point them out.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think there is some truth in that we're in a society where it's very difficult to point out things that people are unhappy with if it doesn't go with the what is accepted.
Well, by the way, she is now channeling her family's opinions. But she does understand that, it's not actually that useful to keep calling people that disagree with you racist, and yet she keeps doing it. I don't understand how you get this self-aware and then still carry on with what you are doing. That's borderline evil, because you are playing into part of the system that is effectively silencing people that you, as you say, have sympathy with. So if you're carrying on to try and effectively oppress their, let's just call them what they are, complaints about modern society and the government and people they disagree with, then yeah, you are a bad person. Plus you can't bring up your child properly.
Political correctness, Overton window.
They call it the wokerati, and there is some truth in that, absolutely. So I have sympathy with people that hold different views and feel disenfranchised because they're not allowed to express them.
However, you are perfectly happy to instill in your child that they should hate them. And I do mean hate them, and you do encourage that, as we just saw. Why pretend you have sympathy? I know why you pretend to have sympathy. It's because you're on camera and want to seem normal and look like you have sympathy and look like you have any sort of deep thought on any of this, when in reality, off camera, you're just spiteful.
But there are ways to express things in a gentle way that doesn't hurt other people, right?
I'd love to know who is hurt by the Tommy Robinson demonstration. Is it going to be this thing of, it makes people feel a bit uncomfortable? Because I'm not going to lie, the way you're acting and the way you've brought up your child makes me very uncomfortable. So, by that end, should I suppress you as well? Is that where we're up to with the wokeness?
What specifically are you concerned with in terms of harm? People damaging like mosques and that sort of thing?
Not quite how I'd phrase the question. Though, to be fair, he is pretty good with his follow-up questions, so I'd love to see how he does follow this up. But it was a good question to ask, because it's the one I just asked. Where's the harm? I would definitely not say, damaged mosques. I wouldn't lead the question like that, but either way, to be honest, I think the guy's going to follow up and say what mosque has been harmed here, and well, then we'll see a squirm. It's the thing as an interviewer, I don't think you should lead people out of these difficult questions with an easy cop-out. But, I mean, I'm happy this guy's going around interviewing these people, to be honest.
Hate speech breeds actions of hate, right?
Oh, interesting. So is your child saying, I want to eat Tommy Robinson, going to lead to Tommy Robinson being eaten? Because that's the logic you've just put forward. This is your logical conclusion. If what people say will turn into reality. All right, well, effing Nazis and eating Tommy Robinson, are they going to be real? Are you going to F Nazis as in F them up, not as in literally have sex with them? Reveal preference shows that no, you don't think hate speech necessarily leads to the actions implied with the speech. So don't even try and lie about it.
So to be fair though, this says fuck off Nazis. I'm sure they wouldn't consider themselves that, right?
This guy's a really good interviewer. Link to his post here, by the way, down in the description. He's called Tyler Oliveira, and this is the first I've seen of him, and I'm impressed. So go follow him.
Do you think there's a bit of a double standard at play?
Well, they wouldn't consider themselves Nazis, but there are definitely similarities in the things they're saying and the ways that some of them behave.
Yeah.
Such a slimeball answer. Effectively, her defence here is, well, you see, I'm saying F off Nazis, but you see, they don't consider themselves Nazis, so, it doesn't apply to them, so they don't care. What a slimeball. Honestly, what a feeble defence. You say hate speech breeds violence. Well, isn't this hate speech? oh, well, you see, they don't consider themselves Nazis. Okay, so if I call someone an N-word and they don't consider themselves an N-word, all of a sudden can I just say whatever I want N-word? Is that how this works? Don't think so. N-word, of course, meaning Nazi and no other word.
So
I mean, I want to be fair to both sides here in the
it's
sense
about
that
actions, right? And if you're taking action that is, you know, defiling, you know, other religions' beliefs and mosques and, you know, whatever it is, then
Well, why does that have... I mean, nowhere in British law is it only religions that are protected. But so why are you stopping at religions? Oh, it's because they don't like Muslims. But if you can't have a go at people for their beliefs, presumably because you think that beliefs aren't something actively and consciously chosen by people, then why have a go at other people if they are Nazis? This is the thing. When I have a go at people who are, you know, firmly on the right but are completely useless and openly racist, I don't denigrate them for being racist because I don't really care. They can't help that. So instead, I denigrate them for being useless and not managing to forward their beliefs in any meaningful way to the general public. In fact, they do the opposite. That is what I have a go at them for being stupid, not for being racist. But if you're just going to have a go at people for the beliefs that they hold, it's just a stupid way to go. Because how are you going to, one, convince anyone, and two, if you can't choose your beliefs, why have a go at someone for something they have literally no control over?
their argument is, hey, we're Christians, the Muslims are disrespecting our religion and our children and our women and that sort of thing.
I mean, frankly, that's just a good point. You know, if you do really have to push these people on, why is your hatred so one-sided? Why is it for this one specific group? And to be honest with you, I understand why people would hate Nazis. The Holocaust is one of the most well-known genocides ever, and I do not blame people for wanting to do things to avoid that. But the reality is that it's never going to happen again. Whether people, even if people encouraged it, it would not happen again, because people are hyper aware of it to the point where we overcompensate for it, and putting asylum seekers onto a barge is, you know, it invokes these concentration camp nonsense points to the point where Labour gets in, gets rid of them, and now have decided to just foot the bill to the taxpayer even more with hotels. You know, Tories weren't any better. They should have just been deported. But even that, you know, oh, we're going to send them to concentration camps in Rwanda. Like, this is what I mean. It's never going to happen again, so I don't bother invoking Nazis even where they're relevant, because everyone agrees that they're bad, and if anything, it just impedes actual nuanced discussion.
Those people wouldn't call themselves Nazis, right?
Sure.
So,
and you guys probably wouldn't call yourself like communists or
well,
left.
exactly.
Yeah.
No. So, I mean, if they say fuck off commies, it doesn't affect me because I don't consider myself a communist.
Got it.
Well, since you're the one invoking Nazis, do you think it particularly cares how people self-identify when it came to putting them on train cars and throwing them in camps? You know, what a ridiculous thing to say. Oh, saying F off commie doesn't affect me, even though she probably is a communist. Or at the very least, a socialist. And it is just pure cope and seethe to say, oh, well, if they say F off commie, you know, what are they going to do? Well, this kind of undermines your other point that words breed violence. You're right, they're not going to do anything, because they don't want to do anything to you. So you're right, their speech does mean nothing, but at the same time, it's got to mean everything, and it means that they want to, I don't know, delete all Muslims. Therefore, I need to delete them before they can do that deleting. Oh, but this is all just rhetoric. This is all just me talking, so it's not going to lead to anything. But you see, it is for them, so I've got to be... It's this circular logic of constantly undermining herself that has just led to this complete stupidity and inability to actually make any coherent points. And unfortunately, she's passed all her worst traits down to her son, which, again, I feel bad for. You know, is it worth getting social services involved in this? I'm not entirely sure. I'll let the people who do homeschool decide that, because it's not my expertise. But I don't see how this is not on the road to radicalisation. You know, I don't think any of the parents on the Tommy side have signs that say F all Muslims or things like that. And I don't think that they are the side that is getting radicalised here. Therefore, yeah, where does social services come into this?
Okay, fair enough. Thank you so much for sharing. That helps. We got the sign. Thank you so much. Cheers.
As I say, the link to the tweets where I got this clip from is down in the description. It's straight from Tyler Oliveira. He has a YouTube channel as well that I'll link down in the description. He seems to just go around with a camera interviewing people, which I find interesting, so I hope you do too. But I think with that, that's everything I have for you today. So, shell time. There won't be any Dustborn tonight because unfortunately Tharium is not about. But tomorrow it's budget day, therefore we have a The Other Side of the Hill newscast special on that, where we'll also be talking about that Labour MP who sucker punched a man in the face. So you have that to look forward to. Videos out as and when I can make them. No streams next week as I will be away. I will try and get a video done in advance for that time, but if I don't have the time then I will definitely be back next weekend for Laughing at the Guardian. But I try and make up for that with all the videos I'm doing this in the past few weeks, so I do hope you've been enjoying. But with that, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, become a channel member, send super thanks and super chats, all that good stuff. It really does help the channel. And obviously join the Discords down in the description as well. Right, with that, that's everything I had for you for today. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.